Good morning, everyone. It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2018 Innovation Award winner, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads, fathers, and male caregivers that's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And being part of that movement, we've reached out directly and indirectly to over 400,000 dads, fathers, and male caregivers around the world. And as always, I'd like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. Good morning, the morning vibe. Good morning, Ryan Knight. How are you? You got to unmute yourself, Mr. Ryan.
Yes, good morning. Good morning. Always good to see you. For those that might remember me, my name is Ryan Knight, one of the co-founders of the Afro Caribbean Business Network. We work with entrepreneurs of African and Caribbean heritage, really to figure out what stage their business is in, and then help them create a strategy to grow their companies exponentially. And I'm also an entrepreneur. I do run a company called Detailing Nights. So we provide mobile waterless car cleaning. So we go to people's houses or their offices, clean their cars on the spot without using water, and our plant-based eco-friendly cleaning supplies. And as the summer winds down, I'm feeling the fall crisp, but we go right till December. So if you want to reboot your car for the winter, now's the best time as it's chill. It's a nice detailing weather, I would say. It's not too hot, not too cold.
Detailing weather. Is there a detailing forecast?
Hey, we should start doing the what's that? The weather forecast in the morning. It's like, is it a detailing
Oh, okay. Okay.
day?
Okay. All right. A detailing forecast. Wow, like you're asking much of me, and it's nice you're saying that today. So, just a heads up, everyone watching live on the replay, and even listening on the replay. Um, no producer Matt this morning, so I'm basically doing what I did in the past: hosting, producing, directing, all in one. And I'll be totally honest, I'm not fully oriented with this platform, so I'm going to learn by crash and burn. But also, producer Matt's last day is Friday anyway, so sometimes you just got to jump off a cliff and grow your wings on the way down.
Yes.
So, just want to give everyone that heads up ahead of time. Other than that, Dr. Knight, what's been going on? How was your weekend?
Yeah, so you'll see I'm wearing my sash. So I was at the Remarkable Fathers Awards.
Where was that?
That was at Humberline by Finch and Humberline, Panamarto Banquet Hall. So I want to say thank you to Ngozi, who is the creator of, you'll see at the bottom, the Nigerian newspaper.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? Nigerian Canadian newspaper. And I wanted to, you can see my screen share there. Are you able to put it up?
Well, okay. We'll see if I'm able to do that. Let me
Learn
just
my
see.
job.
We'll see if we're able to do that. That I'm not there yet, but tell us about the event.
Yeah, absolutely. So each year, this is the third year they were doing it. It's the third edition of the Remarkable Fathers Awards and Gala. So they were able to award 40 fathers, just nominated by their families, and part of the award they would, I guess, title it based on how you were nominated. So the one I received was the Community Legacy Award. I was like, okay, I feel like I still have to build and live up to that.
Well, congratulations.
And yeah, seeing I was able to bring my daughter Jasmine. They had some great food. I would say the jollof rice was
Hey,
awesome.
just give me. I'm in the process of setting it up, so just give me a second.
No worries. You can let me know when
Yeah,
you're ready.
I see the pictures here, so I'm trying to multi-purpose at the same time here. So just give me a moment
Gotcha,
as
gotcha.
I multi-purpose that. All right. And then what I also got to do. All right. So there we go. So now you can show your stuff.
Awesome. All right. So these were a set of the gentlemen that were awarded the awards. So Ngozi's in the middle here. Let me see if I can go back. So, like I mentioned, it was a Community Legacy Award that I was honored with. Food, definitely heavy hands. It was, not
Heavy.
You did not
Heavy.
leave hungry. As I say, my daughter Jasmine was with me. So this was here at the backdrop. And I do think I have a picture with Ngozi herself. Yes. So Ngozi, this is the founder of Nigerian Canadian newspaper, still in print. So they do hand it out. I think she said it gets out to about 50,000 readers. So we've advertised in the newspaper before. Probably should be advertising more as we have more bigger events coming up, like our symposium and the partners showcase. And you'll see some of these here. But I wanted to show you a lady that we should have on the show as well. She's actually right here. Khadija, she's a counselor in London, which
Right.
is part of Oxford County. And I noticed that she created something called the Black Opportunity Network. So I was thinking we should learn more about the Black Opportunity Network. This was the gentleman that was the MC. Definitely did well. I was entertained. Oh, someone put money on his photo.
Okay.
Nice. Let's see. And so we got a picture with Ngozi. And yeah, so Khadija, definitely want to learn more about the Black Opportunity Network. They had their Black Excellence Awards in June. So for next year when it's coming up, we definitely want to get her on. I would say get her on soon, and then when the awards are coming up as well, just so we can learn more about how they're supporting Black entrepreneurs in Oxford County. And
Well, we will leave that to you to get her on the show. Interesting. Did you tell her at all that your co-host hosts a show about fathers?
I did mention because I was saying that she should be on the show. So yes, I did mention
Okay.
it.
I leave it out there and we do it, but it sounds like you had a good time.
Yeah, it was well done. It was entertaining. So galas and banquet type stuff, usually the food's not good and it's typically dry atmosphere. So I think they did it well where people were kept engaged. They did a great icebreakers with the kids and with the fathers. So yeah, it was well done. I'm looking forward to the next one. Gotta nominate
Nice.
my dad so that we can honor him at the next one.
Well, and it's interesting you're mentioning that in regards to fathers. I guess a gentleman who's somewhat known in the environment, Tristan. Why am I blanking on his last name? Barracks had
Okay,
a celebration of life ceremony for his father this past weekend.
gotcha.
So condolences out to his family in regards, and he actually made a documentary about fatherhood in the last year. So he featured his father in that documentary and
Wow.
interviewed and got his father to talk
Oh,
about
so you
some of
got
the,
him like
yeah,
captured in
so
the
share
interview.
some of his the fatherhood journey
Right.
uh, in that, and actually it's doing quite well. It's winning a lot of awards
Gotcha.
in around in a lot of film festivals, so that's really good to know. Really
Hmm.
good, and weather wasn't bad this weekend.
No, it only rained last night evening. So during Saturday, Sunday, we definitely had, and it was cool. So the Saturday, we actually went up to Wasaga Beach.
Oh
So my
wow.
siblings and their kids, we all went up. So there's about 15, 16 of us. I want to say, fortunately or unfortunately, we were playing football, and it reminded my 43-year-old body of where all the rust is. Because the next day, it was like I had to cancel all my morning activities.
Are
So I was
you
like,
kidding me?
body needs to rest. Because if I'm gonna be able to walk to get to this award, the Father's Gala, I
You had to cancel your activities?
that was a sleep-in Sunday for sure.
OMG.
Because the adrenaline takes over when your nephew challenges you. So, but it was good. My brother and I we got to what re spark the duel, the night duel, because we used to play
Oh,
football in high school. So
okay.
it was fun throwing the ball around with him. But
Okay.
yeah, man, the body reminds you where is not optimized. Like the body's not optimized right now. Got to get some exercise regimen in.
That is
But
so
yeah, how was the weekend for you? What were you up to?
yesterday was somewhat quiet. Saturday I really didn't do too much of it. I took it really somewhat easy
Mhm.
over the weekend. Had one or two chats with people, but nothing. Just took it really easy. I enjoyed the weather. I thought Saturday was a really nice day.
Yeah,
It was a cloudy, overcast, but it was cool. It was warm, but not humid.
true.
That
Yeah,
was the nice thing. So having that opportunity to just relax, take it easy, good, and begin to say yes. Summer looks like it's summer heat, but I still have a feeling we'll get one more summer blast in September. Usually we do, and oh well, actually, I spoke with a neighbor that's been
yeah.
her and I have been in the neighborhood for many years, and she's 83 now, and she's finally come to a point where she's going to be moving in the next year or so, and she's going to be moving to Ottawa. So we had a great reminiscence time, recalling things, memories, etc. We spoke for about an hour and a half on her front porch, it was
Gotcha.
just beautiful. I said, you know what? I don't want to do it. I just want to hang out with my neighbor here, and we just chatted for a good long time. Found a lot of interesting stories, just sharing and caring. So it was a lot of fun.
Ah, nice, nice. Did you do any of the shows live or were they replay?
We actually did replays yesterday, and then prime time on Saturday was good as always. Aisha and Lala were on fire as per usual, so we really, whenever they're on, it's fire. Whenever they had so much to say for everything from about Epstein to John Bolton to DC takeover. It was
Right, right.
so much stuff. So it was good
Listen,
to
they
see.
know how to flood the zone in the US, man. They just
Oh, that's
pack
the and
everything
remember,
at you at once.
it's only about 7 months, man.
Right?
There's a lot
Yes.
it's crazy. But all right, we're gonna go for a break, and when we come back, we'll do some house stuff, and then we've got Emma Ansah on about two controversial black men, and
Gotcha,
she says she's
gotcha.
got some tea to spill also. Oh boy, there's gonna be a show today. All right, so bear with me. We will be right back in 30 seconds. What is up, everybody? It is Dr. Vibe here, and this is Primetime Saturday with Aisha and Lalo.
It feels like every 10 years we find ourselves trying to venture into some kind of war.
He continues to get away with absolutely everything. And when that happens, that limits our power as well.
He shouldn't be able to do this without asking Congress.
I have to catch my breath.
Speaking of Primetime Saturday, there you go. That's some of what you get on it. That's
Yes,
what you get
yes.
on it. Big time. All right, let's do a few things. Subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. So subscribe and hit the notification button. We're just one subscriber away from 1,890 subscribers, so let's make it happen.
Nice.
Also, like the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Substack. Join the Morning Vibe Discord group. Email me at dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com or click on the link you see on the screen. Advertise your business product or service on any of the platforms that I'm a part of. Email me dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. And Indie Soup Media. Dr. Tachi's everywhere. She was even in the comments section on Saturday's show. If you haven't heard about it, check it out on YouTube, Independent Content Creators Platform. About 28,000 subscribers in about 18 months of operation. So please check that out. Let's next go to comments. Good morning, Destiny Savory. Typo, we know. Good morning from Toronto. Good morning, JJ. Well, there we go. JJ Mars in the house from Colorado. What's going on in Colorado, man? What's going on in the U.S.? Frequency of Event Promotions is in the house. Good morning. JJ Mars says your new intro music is good and sounds very familiar. I didn't pick it. It was chosen for me.
Gotcha.
Shirley Josma. Shirley, first of all, good morning. I still owe you the contact information for Desiree King. Will get done today. My error. She says, congrats, Gala King. Oh, the name sticks on both
Right.
sides of the border. Well deserved. And then frequency of air promotions goes hashtag optimize.
Yes, we need to get
Frequency
our bodies
says,
optimized.
Ryan, just eat more dumpling and salt mackerel with some carrot juice should do the body good.
Yeah, it's first I'm hearing of that. Okay.
And then good morning fitness IQ, morning. All
Yes.
right. And what we're going to do right off the bat for people, if you've got a question or take during the conversation, go to callme.road.com and use the code in capitals FSPL8L. It does work because on Friday's show, I know Tim Frey wanted to call in. He wasn't able to call in. Now, when we finished the show, Shirley actually called in and had a conversation with Desiree King. So
Okay,
I
gotcha.
know it works. Well, last time I checked it worked, by the way. That's what I'm saying. Last time I checked it worked. So
Yes.
that is that. Anything else before we bring Emma up, my man?
No, good to go.
Good to go. All right. If you haven't heard of Emma, where you been? Really, especially on YouTube. 50% of the time when I speak with her, she says, "Oh, I just finished doing 500 million shows."
Right.
Do you have a life? Like she does so many shows every day, but we're blessed that she's taken some time out of her positive productive schedule to hang out with us today. And let's bring Emma on right now. There she is.
Ew.
What's going on, Emma?
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. How are you?
I am living the dream, I think.
You're not sure?
I think so.
You think so. You're not certain, but you think so.
Well, there's always room, to grow and thrive.
Good. How are all the things going on with all the different lives you're doing? Like, how many lives do you do a week?
Well, they're live first and they move to post. It's 15 a week.
And people say I do a lot with 4 or 5 a week.
Oh, but when you love what you do, you really don't work a day in your life. So that's how I look at it. I love it. So it's all good. No complaints
Wonderful.
here. The news is always newsing.
Oh gosh, never stops.
Never.
Let me ask before we get into our conversation topic today, what are one of the 2 stories you've done since we last saw you that really had a lot of audience communication or feedback?
Let me think. I mean, I get quite a bit of feedback for most everything, but off the top of my head, I would say there was a story about a young Black man in Quebec who was pulled over for a traffic stop. He was a motorcyclist, and before, when you get pulled over, you stop, right? So
Mm-hmm.
he stopped his motorcycle, and the police just rammed his motorcycle intentionally.
Wow.
Flew 10 feet.
Holy smokes.
And then once he landed, they just went over and continued to rail on him. So he was like seriously injured. It was bad, and it was uncalled for. So he's filed a lawsuit, and I'm following the story to make sure that these police officers are held accountable, because
Right.
the racial profiling and the amount of force and brutality against Black men is just out of control.
And that's not even the first
All police officers. So
yeah.
yeah.
That's not even the first I'm hearing of them ramming into people. A friend of mine, his family, it was a wrongful, I guess the wrong person, and they rammed into the car to pull it over. I was like, what kind of tactic is this?
Exactly.
So, yeah.
And that's just not the process.
Exactly.
Right? But it seems to be the process when it comes to Black men.
Ah, right.
Not good. Not good at all. Not good at all. All right. We started chatting about a subject on Friday, and I had to hold people back.
Oh, yeah.
All right. People were, it almost took over Friday's conversation. So I had to put the brakes on and said, hold on. Emma's coming on Monday to go all in, especially about the first part of this story. So today we're going to be chatting about two people that most of us have never heard of before, Dr. Umar Johnson and Jamie Foxx. So let's start off with what's going on with Dr. Umar. So, Emma, I'm going to let you drive the ship and we'll steer the ship.
Okay, so I think it might have been a week or so ago. Dr. Umar went on camera and he said that he was proposing to take the Black Queens out on a date. And if they wanted to go on a date, and he was calling it Date with the Doctor,
Yes,
they
yes.
right, they can donate $500 to the FDMG Academy, right? This is the school that's never happened. Let's just put it that way. Like, it's been over a decade of this school that he's been building, and it is set to be auctioned off unless he comes up with monies that have not been paid. And I believe August 25th today is the deadline. So, as I said, he went on camera. He's like, "Oh, if you want to go on a date with the doctor, it'll be a private date. You get to pick where it is. You don't have to pay. It's free. $500." And of course, I covered it because I find that to be absolutely preposterous. And yeah, that's pretty much the backstory.
Okay,
And
do I have my permission? Your permission to interrupt, but there's the backstory behind that about the school too.
yes, well, with the school, as I said, it's something that's been 10 years in the making, and several people have donated to this so-called school that you don't ever really see the development of, right? You've got people that have been donating for years and years and years, and
But
whenever
by the way, there's one of them in your screen
Well,
right now.
yeah, I wouldn't say there's been no development. So he did acquire a school. So he has two buildings in Wilmington, Delaware. There has been renovations to one of the schools. They repainted and fixed up the gym. But what happened is that he went on camera and said that his accounts have been frozen, back taxes that he needed to pay or was going to be auctioned off. And updated report, he was able to pay the back taxes, so the auction's off. But now he still doesn't have money. So the reports are about 1.6 to $5 million have been donated to him, where you can't really track because a lot of it's cash. He keeps throwing up the Cash App. So the question now becomes, where did all the money go? Like, why wasn't he able to pay the taxes? And that's where the scam alert has been on high. So yeah.
but you okay, so you're saying it was developed. The issue I guess I have
Mm.
is that um where is the so here's what I say. If somebody asks him what's going on with the school, when's the school opening, the response is always met with defense. So
True.
to me, what I would say, if I had a school and I've been taking people's money for all these years,
Mm.
I would make sure I update the people so they know here's where your money has gone. And thank you very much. And
Mm.
this is where we're at. Here's the challenges. Here's some of the triumphs. Here's the projected date. So that's what I guess what I mean when I say it's not. I'm not really getting any information about the
Mm.
development, the ongoing development of these schools. So
True.
that for me is my thing. Is like why like anybody who is relying on people, because we know that he got a bank loan? No, we don't know these things, right? All we know is Cash App, Zelle, whatever, donate, right?
Yes.
So for me, that's my problem, is the development I'm not really hearing about. So
Yeah,
that's
and I'll share it later because when I talked to him, there was a couple red flags that I noticed that made me realize a school is probably not going to get done in the way that he's mentioning. I'll share it after, but
okay.
a
All
big
right.
thing around the process, like you said, came out as I was talking to him. But yeah, I'll let you.
Hold on. You were talking to him?
Yeah, he was here in
Oh,
Canada.
okay. Well,
And
okay.
yeah,
So I know Emma has some takes on that too. So
yes.
before we go any further, Frequency Event Promotion goes, "Hi, Emma." Also, JJ
Hi.
Mars says Umar School was a 150-year plan to be completed.
Right.
All right. So,
Not
Emma,
even there is no plan. That is a big. That's part of the problem too. 150-year plan. At least we know when it's coming. But when there's no plan, things.
again, I hope that someone is able to call in because this is a conversation topic. Again, so if you got a question or take, whether you have a smartphone, laptop, desktop, tablet, whatever, go to callme.road.com and use the code FSPL8L. And I think you just type that code in. There's a code that shows up, but just type in that code, put in your name, then you'll get join call. Click on that, and I'll see that you're calling in. Also, if you have a smartphone, you can see in the corner, there is a QR code will take you right to that site. All right. Emma, I want one of the first times we chatted, you talked about attending when Dr. Umar was in Toronto. What are some reflections you have of that event?
Well,
Uh-oh.
that event was successful.
Mhm.
The turnout was good. Everybody wanted to hear what he had to say. And to be honest with you, back then I was rocking with him. I'm like, yes, he's coming through for the people. He's all about the people. I mean, he's a great orator, intelligent, all of those things. And I was like, yes, I enjoyed the event. Um, and again, a lot of people were excited about what he had to say, and everybody was really rocking with him. So for me, my takeaway that night was great. However, I have since learned some things.
Oh,
So
here we go.
let
Here
me,
we go.
let me sip my tea.
Beautiful. Love it. While you're sipping your tea, just want to say good morning, got Dr. Tachi. Dr. Tachi's in the
Oh,
house.
Mr. Patrick.
And Shirley says he has no team. Who are his team members helping him build this school?
Hmm.
He doesn't have. I don't believe he does.
Right.
The team is the people that are donating money.
Oh,
Right.
oh. Okay, Emma, you had your tea sip. What is the result of your tea sip?
So in 2018, and I don't know if the viewers know about the Toronto Pan African Film Festival that goes on every year. In 2018, my girl, a festival director, Lori Beezer, was bringing Dr. Umar down. So on the gala, and Dr. Vibe, you're familiar with it because he was one of our esteemed panelists, and unfortunately that part didn't happen, but that's a whole other conversation. But so for the gala night, he was invited to be the guest, and his fee at that time was $5,000 US. So he wanted 50% up front. So that monies was sent to him. So 2,500 US, which ended up being a little over 3,000 Canadian, was sent to him, and he never showed up.
Oof.
Oh.
He
No
never
reason
showed
or
up.
anything. Just.
He just did it. Literally, they were contacting people he knew in the United States, in Baltimore, like all over. Somebody, I believe, even went to his home to try and find him. He never showed up.
That's brutal.
And
Wow.
so she had to scramble at the last minute to find somebody to fill into that position. Fortunately, she did.
Hmm.
But to this day, she never got her money back.
Hmm.
Ouch.
And so fast forward to 2024 when he came, when he finally did come. Um, One of the people that she was working with, his name is Kofi. He said to Kofi, I'm really sorry. So he's apologizing for what happened in 2018. And
Hmm.
then he followed up with, I didn't know it was you. So that to me is extremely problematic because he's saying to another black man, I didn't know it was you. So, in other words, I didn't know you were involved. Had I known, I would have showed up.
Right.
So this person who is always talking about black queens forever, black queens, you need to treat our black queens well, and goes down on some black men that he thinks are, bums and not treating black queens, and the ones who keep being bunny hoppers and all the other stuff he says. He treated and disrespected a black woman who
Mhm.
paid for him to come.
True.
And he's turning around and saying, I didn't know it was you. So in other words, because it was a black woman, you ghost her and you treat her this way. And oh, had I known it was you, Kofi, I wouldn't have done that. Like what?
Right, right.
All right, just
So that to me is extremely I guess in lockstep with what's going on now. Right? So
all right. Just if I have permission, Eric, just to catch up on some comments. Dr. Tachi has eyes emoji. Oh, good morning, Office of Tim Frey. Good to have you in the house. JJ Mars, his team is, quote, me, myself, and I.
Mm.
And Dr. Tachi says, what? That's terrible. JJ Mars says, Umar was probably in some all night Atlanta strip club. Ouch. Um, Dr. Tachi says he is problematic. His words at this point are complete theater.
Mm.
Good morning, McNilla Group says, good morning. Why wasn't this dude outed years ago? He can define he's he says he can define with one word and it begins with F. Not gonna go there. All right. Okay. All right. So Ryan, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, and what Ray from the Macmillan Group is saying is something, unfortunately, we have to be put on high alert as a Black community because this whole saga is actually reminding me of something, and I don't want to rub people the wrong way, but the pastors that always promise the building
Oh,
fund, it's
oh.
sounding very similar. And the conversation that I had with Dr. Umar, it reminded me of them because I asked him a question about, oh, when you did the cost estimates for the building, what was the approximate amount that was needed to get it done? He said, oh, we haven't done that. I was like, so what are we really doing? Like, if because now being part, like we're doing a housing project in well, it's a secret. I'll tell you in October.
Okay.
But when we started doing the housing project, the first thing, in order to get the money for it, they wanted us to do these cost estimates. So companies will just come in, look through the project, estimate every like all the different contractors you'll need, every like down to the T. I was like, oh, so this is what we should be asking for when people ask of our money, because this is how bigger funders and everybody treats us when we're asking them for money. So this is the standard quote. But then the next question I asked was around, oh, which organizations in the US are you collaborating with to help you get it done? Because in Canada, we have the Black Entrepreneurship Ecosystem, and we also have ACA, the Afro Canadian Contractors Association. So these are entities that I'd love to connect you with, because if we connected with the contractors here in Canada, maybe they can, we can do a trip down where we're training students to help you build out. And first, he said, oh, I haven't connected with any other organizations in the US. So a 5 million plus project, he's going at it alone. And Shirley Josba nailed it, that he doesn't have a team. But worse than not having a team, he actually doesn't have a board. So if you ask the question, what entity are we donating to? What entity is actually managing this project? Is it him personally? Is it a specific for-profit company? Or is it a non-profit company? And the answer is we don't know. So we're donating money, and actually we don't even know where the money is going. And the only thing that pastors have above that is that when we donate and give our tithes, we know it's going to the church, but we don't ask for a cost estimate of what the building fund is going to cost. So we don't know what's going on. But the churches that can actually produce it, you notice that their buildings actually get built and renovated. The churches that can't produce it, now I'm realizing the money is just flowing in the ether. So,
oh, they're using the money to fund their lavish lifestyle. I mean,
right?
most churches are the biggest racketeers.
Oh,
And this is where we need to figure out how to expose it. Like, I don't think
Yes.
we knew how to ask the right questions before. We just give in trust, and Dr. Umar is the best example of this. How much trust we actually just donate and ask no questions. It's actually scary and sad, because if we don't rectify this, how many more times will the Black community be uh, be duped and defrauded? How many times has it already happened where we're not getting that money back because we didn't answer the right questions? Maybe because we didn't put any contract in place to say, hey, if I'm sending this deposit, I need you to sign off on this contract so that I have due course if you don't show up. Like, there's so many ways that we can protect ourselves, but because we move with emotion and trust, I move through the world that, like you're saying, Emma, if I give a $2,500 deposit, I'm not throwing my lawyer at you to try and figure out contract and term, even though we should. But in certain aspects, you're like, yo, why would this person go through life to defraud me of this 2,500? Like, I can't even sometimes process a person's mindset that would do that. But it happens. It's like we have to realize that these people exist, and it's so sad.
Well,
Because
there's
now,
been pastors that are in jail for this. They're
right?
taking their parishioners' money. I mean, and that's the hypocritical thing as well about Umar, is that he will slam the churches and he's not doing
Exactly.
anything differently. He's not. He's asking for donations. They're asking for tithes and offering.
But it all falls into the same bucket. And the fact that will he will jab like the other Pan-Africanists and call them frauds and say that they're taking people's money and not doing what they said with it. So the hypocrisy is wild, and this is where we have to be able to put.
It
And a
is
mentor of
beyond.
mine,
Beyond.
Errol, he calls it firewalls. Like, what firewall can we put around our operations, our money, so that we can't get defrauded? If we don't have proper firewalls in place, these type of things is just going to keep happening. Look, I bet you there's still people donating to him because they're holding
Yeah.
on.
Oh, they do. Oh, they absolutely
Right?
do. The amount of people that say, "Oh, Dr. Umar, I'll still rock with you. I'm riding with you till the wheels fall off." Well, you go ahead. But the other thing, though, just on the other side of it, is us as a Black community have to really know these things. We have to be educated on how we're managing our finances and what does it mean when you're donating. What is it like? You got to know the ins and outs. Like you just said a whole thing, Ryan, that I'm sure a lot of Black people don't know. Those questions to ask and stuff. So there we as a community need to make sure that we're arming especially our youth, because
Yes.
this man is traveling everywhere, okay, and a lot of young Black men are looking up to him, and Black women, and so it's super important that we are making sure that we are providing our younger Black people and older ones with the this kind of advice. I mean, my background is accounting, so everything you're saying I already know.
Yes.
But there are a lot of people that don't know, So that's the thing, and as I said, a lot of people will still be like, "You guys are, you're bad, and you just want to see a Black man go
Trying
down."
to tear down the Black man, right?
Right, and when really we're actually seeing the truth. Okay,
And
the things are lighting
protecting
up.
the other Black men and women, because the biggest thing, actually, sorry, Dr. Vibe, I'll let you, before I talk about what's missing that we all should be wary of. Yeah, did you want to get to some of the
Yeah,
comments?
you as you would think, there's no comments, but I want to catch up on some comments here. So, Dr. Tachi says, unfortunately, humans rely heavily on leadership and saviorship. Because of this, the first slick talking person who promises us the world will have us following them and opening our wallets. She then continues, right. And the fact that he does not have a board means that there is tremendous lack of oversight as well. Some other
Exactly, and that's what I wanted to touch on, because
okay. She also let's finish up these comments. On another note, Ryan, how come you have a stole around your neck? Are you starting a church? JJ
I'll answer that in a sec. Yeah.
JJ Mars. JJ Mars goes, in America, federal IRS laws are and have been very liberal when it comes to religious institutions. And something tells me with the current administration, they're even going to become more loose. JJ Mars says basically all the TV ministers are multimillionaires with private jet planes. Ray
No accountability.
says because fraud is the numbers again, Ryan, and your $25 is just one of hundreds of thousands of other donations. So it's necessary to call it out to protect each other. JJ Mars goes, loopholes are everywhere in the IRS. Oh yeah, 100% on that. Then I also just want to catch up on some things here because I know,
Mhm.
Ryan, you got some stuff you want to share. If you want to touch base, so this is a thumbnail of the Emma train. You can get a hold of her at getpublicrelations.com. Also email GhanaianGirls@gmail.com, African Diaspora News Channel on YouTube, Emancipation Media on YouTube, Daily Scrum News, and Emma Ansah Unfiltered on YouTube. And I also want to say, you guys are making a lot of comments, but I'd love someone to call in. So again, if you got a question or a take, go to callme.road.com and use the code FSPL8L, the letters all in capitals. Put your name in, say join the call. We'd like to hear a live comment. Ryan, we're back with you.
And thank you for putting up Emma's info, because Emma, I'm going to reach out to you so that you can cover the housing project that we're putting together.
Oh, I would
And
love to.
the reason that is so important, and a mentor of mine reminded me of this, is that when you're doing projects like this, you can actually change the lives of so many people in the community. Millions of dollars flow through the hands of developers and people building in our cities, and that's why like the work that the Toronto Community Benefits Network does is so important, because they need to put in community benefit agreements to make sure the communities that they're building in actually benefit from the money that's being spent. Billions of dollars on the Eglinton Crosstown, billions of dollars on the Finch LRT, billions of dollars on the Ontario line, billions of dollars coming from the 413.
And not being built on time.
Hey, but like the delays is one thing. It's more, how did our community get affected by what was happening? Instead of us being uplifted that billions of dollars is being put into Little Jamaica,
You're being
our
driven
company,
out.
it's the opposite.
You're
So
being driven out. That
yeah,
actually was the second, because Dr. Vibe, you asked me what were the two stories or segments or that I've been covering that were, impactful. And that second one was about the gentrification of Little Jamaica.
right.
And so I covered that as well. And I talked about the fact that there were 200 businesses that are gone.
Oof,
And we're down to, I think, 50 left. And
right.
what does that mean? And why is that happening? And what can we as a community do? So Ryan, please, when you're ready, I'm here for it. That's a great follow up
Yeah,
or another segment. Yeah.
imagine doing the cost analysis of losing 150 businesses and what that, like the domino effect into the community. You only see on the surface, okay, we lost the business. And that's what, when people outside our community are looking in, it's like, oh, but businesses go out of business all the time. It's like, yeah, but not at once or because of
And uh,
external forces.
and it is Black people who built that community in the 1950s,
Right.
and now we're down 200 businesses.
Hmm.
And it's, we're talking about a, I don't know, 4 or 5 mile radius,
Yeah.
and all gone. We
Yeah.
have to talk about it, and we have to stop letting this happen. Like it's the
Right.
Black communities that are targeted every time. I talked about this in my report, is that you have all these Little Jamaica, Little Greek Town, and all these other pockets that aren't touched. So it's important that we talk about it. So yes, Ryan, I'm sorry, Dr. Vibe, we have made a lane change.
But
Yes,
it all
it
For
connects.
all
now,
ties
I'm going to
in.
bring it back to the main road, but you two
Yes.
continue.
It all connects because
Exactly.
this is the domino effect of when we get defrauded. And
Yes.
so I would say Eglinton LRT and
Okay.
Crosslinks defrauded the businesses in Little
All
Jamaica.
right. I'm gonna ask your permission to interrupt again. Got some comments here.
Oh yes,
Dr. Tachi says, quote, rolling my eyes super hard at trying to take down a melanated man. Kevin says, good morning, all. Governance is the Achilles heel of our nonprofit organizations. And Dr. Tachi says, oh, only 50 businesses left. Yeah, and it's decreasing rapidly.
That
I
is
want to
sad.
though get back to, why do many of people who look like us fall for smooth talkers?
Well, I think it's like what Ryan said is that you want to believe in that person. There are a lot of people in our community that they're struggling. Okay, they're struggling. They're looking for guidance. They're looking for direction. And here you have this person who I believe has Messiah complex.
Mm.
And like I said, great orator, saying all the things that feed into all of the plights of our people,
Yes.
and offering all of these solutions. What we need are major institutions. There's no reason why Toronto shouldn't have that, and here's how we do it. I was there too, by the way, Ryan. I heard him talk, and
Yes.
I fed into it. The only difference is I wasn't opening my wallet. Okay, my
Yes.
accounting brain was bleeding when I thought about 10 years, school, all of these donations, all the speaking engagements, and I know how much they cost, though his fee is. So, I didn't feed into that part, but I was definitely like, yes, finally, somebody who is seeing what we're struggling with and who's rocking for us and writing for us. And he came to Canada and he's saying, yes, we're going to do this in Toronto, and here's how. And he had a whole roadmap, a whole game plan,
Mm.
So I think that's what it is that our community doesn't see like a Malcolm X or a Martin Luther King. We don't have that person. So here comes this person who is unapologetically African. He's got the whole Ufantunde name and all that other stuff, and he's saying all the things and then backing it up with a plan. So that's what I think personally.
Uh,
I,
but again, it goes back to we love the smooth out. We love the great talkers.
That's what I
Like,
said. He's a great orator. He
like,
does. He puts
yes.
on a good show.
and why so many times do a number of us fall for it over and over again without any due diligence? We're just giving our money away, right? We're just giving because with no accountability. Gonna
It's
come back
lack
to some
of
more.
education. It's lack of just the knowledge and the things that Ryan just spoke about, which is Ryan asked the questions. Ryan asked the questions
Mm.
and he didn't get the answers.
There you go.
The answer was,
So,
I don't know.
okay, the McMillan Group goes. We have to make the word quote vinification quote unquote common. No one wanted to buy homes off Oakwood and Vaughan. They moved 45 minutes to an hour away. It's a process of education.
Mm.
O.O. Agbula. I hope I got that name right. If not, it's my head, not my heart. Says, because affinity scams work.
Mm.
Dr. Tachi says, I also think that African descent have a rich oral tradition. We value people who have mastered elocution skills and
Mm.
expert orators. Never mind that sometimes the words are empty. Ha! Kevin says, what's an effective strategy to determine who is legitimate and who is playing us using the black card? Good question. Also, Ray says, Black folks are always looking for a hero. The eloquence can be intoxicating if you don't have heroes in your bloodline. Ooh, good, good, good.
And I want to drill into that because, and just before I do, Dr. Tachi, the reason I'm wearing this is because I was part of the Remarkable Fathers Awards that was happening yesterday. But, and before, I don't want to feel like I'm preaching as I'm wearing this. And she's saying,
Ah!
but Ray McMillan, I remember our first meeting because ACBN, we had this concept and we met for breakfast. That there was no breakfast, and I always apologize to him. But being able to talk about the vision and this, so I feel, hey, I know how to get what I want to work on my vision out, and talk in front of people and say, hey, this is what we think should be done. But the main question that Ray asked was, Ryan, that sounds great. What is your plan to get this done? And who is going to help you? And we were at this breakfast with about 6 of us. And so, him being able to see, I think that I wasn't by myself. If I was just standing in the Dundas Square, now Sankofa Square, spouting, hey, this is what the Black community needs and this and that, yes, it would sound great. But if I didn't have somebody like Ray who was willing to mentor and say, you know what, that sounds great. It does need to be done, but you need to connect with this accountant. And he connected us with this accountant to register our nonprofit properly and to create the board and to make sure that the people that are in part of this, we know our roles and responsibilities. ACBN wouldn't be where we are today 8 years later, and it would have been a lot of fluff. And there might have been people that would put in money, but put in money to something that had no structure. Now, when we talk to funders and we talk to foundations, we talk to the government about what we're working on, they see structure. They see we were able to get funding from the federal government because we have a strong board and we have like our financials in place. We're able to continue to get funding from foundations because we have this structure. And if a person asks us, hey, I heard this plan that you're working on, where is like, where's the actual outline? I can share them that Google Drive, the data room, and they can see everything about what we're working on. If we didn't learn that from a mentor like Ray to be able to structure it properly, I'd probably be right up there with the likes of Dr. Umar just spouting fluff. And this is where the fluff gets you to a certain point. The fluff can get people excited and get people to buy in. But even with Dr. Martin Luther King, they talk about he gave his dream speech, but there's a gentleman that came after him that was actually the operations manager and said, okay, you've heard the dream. Now this is the plan. And he had like, there's so many people that Dr. King worked with to be able to put together the civil rights movement. Yes, there's a face, and he was the face of it, but it took like so much hands on deck to get it done that I feel we have to put that same type of scrutiny on the next face that comes up. And so with Dr. Umar, yeah, like we can fall for the fluff, but if we don't put the pressure to say like, where's the structure? Because without having a board, you have no accountability. So with no accountability, a person can just run amok, even if they have good intentions. And this is where I still, and again, you can call me naive, but what he talks about, I do believe that he feels it should get done. So when he talked about like all the infrastructure and the different institutions, he does believe that. And so I do respect his attempts, but when you attempt to do something and you don't have the skills to do it, that's why you have to bring in support. But he feels that he can do it all himself. And that was the biggest red flag when I talked to him. And it was, no, I can handle this all by myself. I don't need a team. I don't need to collaborate with anybody else. I know what I'm doing. Yes, you know what you're doing with education, and we have your book and it's solid, but you've never developed a building before. You've actually never bought a building before based on, I believe he's still renting. So he's never even owned a home to go through the process of buying a home, to understand property taxes and to understand what the county or the city is going to be asking for in these back taxes that he wasn't paying. He thought that they were going to get waived, but he didn't fill out the documentation to even get it waived. So it's like the when you have a operations person that has attention to detail, they don't miss this stuff. I miss this stuff. I am not a detail oriented person. Our team members know that. I can give the vision, but if we
Hold
don't,
on, don't you run a company called Detailing Nights? Sorry, go ahead.
hey, detail when it comes to cars, yes, I can get your car looking mint. But if you're asking me to build a car, I'm not your guy. But this is where like a lady like Charmaine, that's part of our team, is our operations manager. So if Ryan says something, if Charmaine doesn't, like, Charmaine's the one who'll get it done. You know, like, it's great to have somebody that talks about ideas, but you need somebody to implement. And that's what I noticed, that Dr. Umar does not have any implementers.
Well, the
Or
problem is he has issues trusting people. That's the first thing. And then
yeah,
secondly, he's burned a lot of bridges with people. So even trying to get those people that want to be by his side, or want to help, it's going to be difficult. And then just his whole brand it pushes buttons. It's a red button for a lot of people. If he walked into the bank the way he is and talking the way he talks, they'll be like, I don't know if I want to work with this guy, So it's unfortunately, his brand is a problem for a lot of institutions, and the things that he says, he's very polarizing, so I think that's part of it as well, is that there's a lack of desire. And then on both sides, though, because he definitely has said, like, there's been past podcasts where even somebody who opened a school, knows people who opened a school, saying, hey, let me put
Yes.
you in touch with that person. And it's met with such a visceral reaction from him, So you're not going to get, like you said, the fluff will only get so far. And then you've got people coming out now that are sharing their experiences with him, like Lori Beezer, who's, excuse me, you messed somebody over in Canada,
Yes.
So, people are coming out and sharing their experiences. So the house of cards is going to fall, and there will always be that subset of people that'll be like, I don't care what you say about him. I'm
Hmm.
just like they do with certain pastors. Same thing. I do
Yes.
my how dare, like, I will out a pastor who I know is doing dirt, and
Right.
their parishioners will come for my neck. Okay, so there's and even with when I do stuff about Umar, they come for me.
Right. Right.
And you know what his response is? I'm not paying attention to the YouTubian struggle streamers. So that's what we are.
Yeah, that's I
Yes.
know that term. I know that term. If I have permission, let's catch up on some comments. So Dr. Tachi gives you forgiveness. Oh, cool. Congrats, Ryan.
Thank
JJ Marsh from Colorado says Dr. Tachi is called, quote, talking a good game, unquote.
you.
Macmillan Group says, no, Ryan, you wouldn't. You function with high level of ethics and morals. If it wasn't me, you would have found out that guidance somewhere else. You are not egotistical as many other, quote, black leaders, unquote.
Yeah.
Shirley goes, I
Appreciate it.
think due diligence should be show me your team, who's doing what, their track records, ACBN. ACBN has a great team. Kevin says there are people who have come on this show who have no successful track record in business, have done nothing for the black community, tear down nonprofits, and are held up as leaders. No Beno. Ooh, okay. Like to hear offline who you think those are, but
Yes.
that's good.
Drop the
And
name.
Ray says folks who have challenges trusting others usually have very distrustful themselves, who are very usually very distrustful themselves.
Because they don't want to let people in. When you let people in and open up yourself to scrutiny, yeah, you have to check your ego, because constructive criticism isn't meant to harm. But when you have low self-esteem or a high ego, you get very defensive when a person ask you questions that are actually going to make you better. So when you can't discern between a person asking a question to help you versus a person asking a question to tear you down, you think everything's an attack. And it's not like that. People, we want we want to see Dr. Umar win. I don't like, who's talking about tearing down a black man? What he's talking about, we actually want to see get done.
That's the
Nobody wants
thing.
to see
We're
this crash and
questioning it
burn.
because it's not happening. So,
Exactly.
and in my accounting brain, I'm thinking 10 years, average donation was $20. Okay. Average amount of donations, I don't know, 300 a month. In my mind, I'm doing the math and I'm like, if the math isn't mathing here.
Yes,
And even the
exactly.
frozen account story, I used to work in fraud and security for a bank.
Mm.
So the story that he's saying of how, his accounts were frozen just arbitrarily and he only got a letter in the mail. No, 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 that's not the process. So, it's about really
Exactly.
understand, and even if you don't know the ins and outs, just common sense. It's just like
Mm.
it doesn't make sense. And if it doesn't make sense, it's not true. But are we going to also talk about his follow up now from this $500 donation
I'm
message?
so curious what's happening with this.
So he said that this, and then people were like, "Oh my gosh, what?" So people started to really wake up now and be like, "What? What are you talking about? $500?"
Hmm.
Tell us
And
about this, Emma.
which one? The second part
No,
two?
the 500. Well, I put the thing that you sent me yesterday. It's up on screen right now. This
Oh,
post.
yeah, so he had asked initially, he was saying that he was offering a date for $500. If you donated $500, he will take you to a restaurant of your choice for lunch. And I'm like, oh, so lunch? We're not even going for a steak dinner for $500? I mean, if you think about it, $500 can cover a good meal at like a Ruth's Chris or an
Oh
Estes.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, if you add the
You
two,
can't let them pick where you're going.
right?
You
He
can
said
get
you
that 500 is gone.
can gone, and he said, and you can pick, and you don't have to pay. It's free. Is it really free? That $500 is probably what's going to be used to go on that date. If you think about it, it'll be a complete wash. So he got a lot of backlash for that. Okay, so people really started to wake up and be like, "What are you talking about?" Right? So now he's followed up to say that's not really what he meant. It wasn't really a date. So that's the what I sent you, Dr. Vibe, that we can like all watch together of how he's trying to clean up that mess. Yeah.
Give me a second here. Now, is this a video?
Yes.
Because okay, so for some reason I can't click on it for it to play.
Oh, hang on.
Gotcha. And I know that
Maybe I have to log into Instagram on this platform. I'm not logged in. I'd have to log into Instagram, but I think you gave the gist of the story.
and you
Yeah.
started cleaning up the criteria of who was allowed to go on the date. I think he was saying,
What he was saying is it wasn't really a date. It's a reality series.
Oh
okay,
yes,
what?
I heard.
Hold
Yes.
on, what?
Yes, it's a reality series. And
What are we talking about?
Yeah, what it is you go on this, not a date, but it's a day. I guess it's a date, and you pitch as an entrepreneur. You pitch your business. So for that donation, you get the opportunity to sit in front of him and pitch your business. It's not a date. So
Yeah.
we've gone from pay
Word.
$500, you get to pick the place, it's lunch with the doctor, to no, that's not what I said. It's not a date. It's a reality series that he's going to be starting. So that's kind of how he's trying to clean it up. But again, you're literally 6 feet under and you're still digging at this point, because it's like, how do you go from pick the place of your choice to I meant it's a reality series? Like,
What
Oh
are
my.
we talking
Well,
about?
Dr. Tachi says, and we have to remember that Black people are not above reproach. Too often we don't question leaders or others because they are Black.
just like you have every right to question your pastor. If your pastor is saying or doing something that violates the scriptures, you have every right to be like, pastor, where's the say in
That
the
doesn't
Bible I
count.
need to give you $200 for your roof? You know what I mean? It's like, where
Yes.
does it say that? What's the building fund about? What's all these retreats where we're spending a lot of money? Where's it going? And I see you driving a Porsche. You have every right to ask.
Exactly.
There's also another part of this that many of us don't question things like we donate to that are non-melanated organizations. We don't question them.
But how much of those times is it out of just pure heart? Because if we're donating to, let's say, one of the walkathons or something, or jump rope for heart, you can track the money to an extent.
I think they now probably a number of those organizations produce reports and things like that.
This is what I'm talking about. Like, especially if you're donating, because remember, if you're donating, you typically would get a donation receipt because it's to a charity, and the charities have open books that they have to report on. So and Emma, you mentioned being like Dr. Umar walking into a bank and talking any which way. The bank will hear all that and still ask you the same question. It's like, okay, that's great. Where's your financial statements from the past 3 years? Where's your cash flow projections for the next 3 years? And where's the business plan? It doesn't matter what you say. They're still going to ask you the exact same questions. And that's where I feel a lot of egos get checked when they get like when they come up against institution. So if you're going for real money, and that's where he hasn't been able to get money from traditional institutions because there's no documentation that they'd ask for available. So now,
And then the problem is, I'm sure his response will be met with defense. And
oh
so
yeah,
that's what I mean by
systemic
his whole,
racism,
right.
everything.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that we can't always fall back to that. And this is where the Black Opportunity or the Black Entrepreneur Program that the federal government created mentioned, okay, there is systemic racism in the banking system. So it's not like it's not there. But then when they do open the door, you still have to walk through that door prepared. You can't just walk through any which way because already the systemic racism was holding you back because they have guidelines that are not beneficial to the experience that maybe the Black community has had, but the underwriter still has criteria to reduce risk for the bank. So if you don't have those documents I was talking about and documents that you probably help people create, Emma, the bank throws those applications in the garbage. Even so, if they get rid of the racism, now what's left? You have to be prepared. So if he can't walk in with those documents, and then you're still gonna call foul. It's like, oh, see, they're just trying to hold me down. It's
Oh
like,
yeah, he'll go stand outside the bank and turn on his camera and selfie video, and again, it's just like this vicious circle.
but didn't he want us to go protest at the city of Wilmington in Delaware?
Yes,
He's like,
yes,
hey, I need you to walk up on the city hall.
yeah.
And so people, this is where it's wild that people emailed the city and said, hey, we wanted to check in on what's happening. And they gave the breakdown. They're like, yo, we contacted him last year, 2024, message here, sent this, no response, no response. They actually don't want him to lose the school. They're like, if he just pays the taxes that's owed, or if he had filled out the forms when they
No,
were,
his donators will pay the taxes that are owed.
Dave,
And that's the thing. What have you done with the money? Where
that
is
is
it?
the question. And there's no accountability there. He will
All
never
right.
answer that question.
Just if I have your permission to interrupt, let's go. Derek, good morning, Derek. Derek says, good morning. I had a problem when he had issues online back and forth with his estranged daughter. That's another conversation piece. Kevin says, Chris Brown wants $1,000 for a picture with him. Dr. Umar wants $500 for a date. What's happened to the black man? Where are the real leaders and mentors for those lost boys? Good point. Macmillan Group says for non-melanated donations, we have to look at the salaries of the executive. Many times they are earning decent six-figure salaries. That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. That is true. Any comments from the last shoe? Like,
Mm.
is this a concern about what impact this could have on our young black men in general? Impressions of black men in general.
Ooh, well, Emma mentioned we are always looking for leaders and people to aspire to. So now, at a point, Dr. Umar would have been somebody that I would show my son Christian and be like, you know what? This is how educated we need to be. We need to be focused on supporting the black community, understanding how we have to navigate this world. And he's giving a blueprint on how to, especially the school system. Now, who do we point our children to look at, to aspire to?
So
That's
Ryan, though, is there a point that's probably the one that we shouldn't be looking for these black leadership should maybe be spread out amongst various people instead of us just because historically in a lot of ways, whenever we put our energies to one, either they fail us or the system, and I'll just say the system finds a way of cutting them down.
Oh, I would say there's many options. I'm not to say that because Dr. Umar is now fallen off the ladder that there's no options. And that's why I always try to bring my kids with me to events that we're doing or events that I'm going to so that they can meet people like yourself, people like Ray, so men in the community that are doing great things. But then there's always, you want more. You don't want
That's what
people
I'm saying.
falling
There's
off.
got to be a wide, not just a narrow, a wide.
But then when you look at the ones that are, so, and I'll name a few. So Senator, this is
Uh-oh.
this is what I'm saying. Like when people reach certain heights and then they fall off, it damages the ability for us to have role models. Senator Meredith totally falls off. Michael Thompson gets in trouble for what reason? Shannon Sharp, like self-inflicted wounds. Like so, these are people that, and I mean, Bill Cosby to an extent,
But
because of
again,
bad decisions in the
so
past.
let me
Now
interrupt.
he's fallen off.
All those individuals you mentioned are either politicians or entertainers. We
But
shouldn't be looking our energies on politicians and entertainers.
I wouldn't throw politicians out. I would say
A lot of them.
but they play a strong role in the community. Like you should want to aspire to be a politician that is handling all of the money of the country or of the city.
All right,
or the
Emma,
province.
question for you, Emma. Would you want to be a politician?
No, but I see Ryan's point. My thing is, you're right. Also, Dr. Vibe, we can't just totally rely on them, but I do feel like they do bear some responsibility for their actions as people that are out here. You can't just talk a good game and put on a good show. But that's why I go back to my point of it's the importance of education, right?
Mm.
You gotta like you gotta be willing to tap into those resources in school, courses, professors. There are good, like Ryan said, there are good people out there. They just don't have to be public figures, you
Mhm.
know? So that's my thing. I mean, when I
Yeah.
think about my schooling, there was no public figure that I can look up to say, okay, this is who I want to be inspired to do what I want to do. I relied on education, to learn,
Absolutely.
all of the things that I feel is important. And my parents instilled that in us, the importance of education, the importance of knowing how to manage your finances, the importance of knowing how to pay your bills, and all of those kinds of things.
Yeah.
It just, you are a representative of this family. So when you go out, be
Mm.
a good human. Don't cheat, don't lie,
Ah,
don't steal, don't, all of the basics that seem to be gone. And I think it's important, and that's one of the things my parents always said to us is, don't look up to this person,
Mm.
and don't allow anybody that's there to make you feel like you're less than. You are equally as capable and as formidable, and all of those things that they poured into us. So we had good sense in our heads to,
Mm.
be able to navigate in this world of systemic racism and all of the things that are baked in, that we have challenges that other, races of people don't face. It's important that we get that education. And I think people are right now, especially our youth, are just running after those people, the Shannon Sharps and the Dr. Umars and the Stephen A. Kings and whatever, like all of these polarizing people. So
did you
Dr.
meant to
Vibe,
say Stephen A? Did you meant
just
to say
before you go
Stephen
to
A.
comments,
Smith?
I want to make sure we don't miss what Emma said because it's so important. And the reason that these figures are important is we're always fighting the stereotype. Our parents are telling us, and just like your parents, Emma, that we have to be above board. We have to be solid. And again, we can find our mentors, but then we're fighting against a stereotype that's out there. And these people that are in prominent positions make it difficult for us, even if we're on point, because the society is now seeing them as like, oh, is that how black men act?
it's a lack of trust. Absolutely.
And we're trying to fight that. We're like, no, look over here. There's amazing black men doing this. Oh, but I saw on TikTok the Shannon Sharp did that, or I saw Senator Meredith did that with 16-year-olds. So now the next stellar black boy that wants to become a senator, he's gonna be compared to this guy. And why are we making it difficult for the youth coming up by not having good role models? This is where it's important for these people that are in prominent positions because they get the spotlight and they create this stereotype about us that we have to now fight through.
And that's why I say they bear responsibility. When I hear a young person say, if what happens if Dr. Umar ends up being a fraud, then there's no hope.
Look at that.
That bothered me because
Right.
you're saying there's no hope when there is, so
Agreed.
yeah.
Exactly. Because that's not true. but they
It's
might
not
think it's true. And it's like you have to fight through that now. You have to re-inspire this person, get them to believe again. And then you'll be like, oh, but you're just talking fluff like he was. It's like, no, we actually have to do stuff so that they can see things getting done. I think the talking, that era I'm hoping is over. We have to shift into the era of show me what's actually done or being done. And I
you
will
gotta
follow
ask
that.
those questions like you asked, Ryan. You know, and then when you're not getting those answers, that's pause.
Yes, agreed. Oh, is it? Are you on mute or just a delay?
Are
Oh,
you
we
on?
can't hear you, Doctor Vibe.
Can't hear you,
Now,
doctor.
just say Macmillan Group says Christian will be fine. He has his father, grandfather, and uncles. We need to stop looking to the unknown for guidance. Let's look at the good and bad within our own immediate circle. OO says politicians are in charge of the show. The people must be in charge of the policy. Politicians must be the tools of our policy.
Hey, they play a specific role in society. We can't dismiss politicians
No,
because
I
they
don't dismiss
actually.
them, but my theory about, and I was discussing this with my neighbor the other day. There's just my thought. Politicians, in order to get elected in politics, what's the number one thing you need?
People to vote for you.
Before that, even
I don't know.
money to
Sure.
run a campaign. And a lot of times, money, sometimes it can be large amounts of money. And the average person like you and I, we only have so much money. Then you get corporations involved, donating.
Hmm.
So when that person gets elected, who they going to serve first? You and I, or the people that donated more money?
Oh, it's
Well,
gonna be
one.
the ones who open their wallet.
So,
Please.
that to me,
Mhm.
many of us, we're commodities. We're just a commodity during election time, and after election's done, we're not that relevant
Well,
anymore.
this is where we should. Then this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is the stereotype that we have now of politicians, and you've outlined your feelings and how you perceive them. But what if we had enough black corporations that had the ability to donate enough to get a person elected? Is it a bad thing that this person elected would actually care about what black corporations and the black community wants to see get done? It would be a great thing. So it's not to say the way a person needs to get elected is flawed. It's to say, okay, if that's what it takes, let's do that. Like, so what's missing is actually more affluent black people, more affluent black corporations, so that we can actually fund things that we want to see get done. If we're always waiting for other corporations outside the community to fund our politicians, they're not going to care about our community. They're going to care about their interests. So we have to flip that so that we actually get people in that care about our interests. And then that stereotype will change.
And that's one of the things is there's a major gap in our community is lack of unity. So
Right.
we need that, right? We need that. And that is severely lacking. That mindset, the days of Tulsa, the Tulsa mindset is
Mhm.
not here anymore. And so we
Evan
need that.
says character, purpose, positive values, integrity, honesty, intelligence, experience, mentorship, and intentionality help in guiding your hand to good decisions. The Walamala, good to see you here, says, yep, politicians get huge sponsorships. And Kevin adds another aspect or another characteristic, and trustworthiness.
Trust. Big time.
And the
Yep.
Walamala says politicians spend more on ads to get voting than funding the community after getting voted. Wouldn't doubt that.
But you have to
Oh, and
look
also
at.
all of the promises that are made, and then once they get in office, half of that throw it away. So
Well, and that's where people will say what they need to say. Well, they'll say what they need to
great
say to get
orators.
in, right? But then, because they're in charge of the treasury, so the treasury of the city, the province, or the federal government, community welfare is a small percentage of the budget. So if you only talk towards community welfare, you're talking to a small amount of people. Remember, more like less than 20% of people are struggling. So 80% of the population is actually doing well. So if you only campaign on
Can I
supporting.
interrupt? What's the definition of doing well?
Well, they show the poverty line at what, 20,000, and 20% of the population is under 20,000. So I use that as people not doing well, but 80% of the population is above the poverty line. So you have to, like, you can't campaign on the minority and expect to get in and fight against the what would you say, the, like, the, not the will, but what the majority wants to see get done.
Uh-huh.
That's where I find a lot of our politicians are only talking about, oh, what will they do to help people that are struggling, which is needed, but that doesn't get you elected, because once you get in, the majority forces you to just focus over there. They're like, okay, you can put a small percentage into those that are struggling, but they actually don't really care, because the corporations, like you said, and those other sponsorships and people that actually funded them have their own agenda. So if we get more people over the poverty line, and so that they can actually be affluent and get the support that they need, like this, the politicians aren't going to do it for us. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, well,
We
that's a
do
no.
it
That's what I'm
ourselves.
saying. Many
We don't really care.
in a lot of cases, we're just a commodity at election time, and
Yeah,
then
they'll say
that's
what
good
they
and
need to
go.
say, but we need to take care of our own households,
Well,
our own
there you
community.
go.
Emma
There
said
we
it
go.
perfect. If we were united better, if we learned how to just collectively, hey, and again, I'm not saying all of us are in this 20%, but wherever we are as a group, unified across Canada and even just in cities, we can move decisions. We can get people elected. Patrick Brown will attest in Brampton, if the black community didn't vote like heavily for him, he wouldn't have won. He beat oh my gosh, but the first time he ran, it was a close race, and a good majority of the black community voted for him. So he even admitted that the black community is to attest for him getting in. So we can put people in office. This is what I'm saying. If we actually unite and be purposeful about what we're doing, then that person that gets put in office knows that we had a hand in it, has to listen. We can't just hope that it happens by accident. And we've totally forgotten about Jamie Foxx. I don't know what happened with him. And
Okay, don't worry. We're gonna
I
we're
need
gonna
to know
flip to
what
We're
that in a
happened.
getting
moment.
there.
Just want to catch a few things. Lots of comments going on via comment section, but why don't you call in? So
Yes,
again,
yes.
if you have this smartphone or you have a laptop, desktop,
Hmm.
tablet, go to callme.road.com and use the code FSPL8L. If you have a smartphone, you can scan the QR code and follow those instructions. It'll take you to a page. You put in that code. Oh, there's a code already there. Type in the code. It overrides it. Put in your name. Would love someone to call in. We will flip to Jamie in just a second. There's some comments. So Walamala says more like all the promises out the window in regards to politicians. He says half is too kind. Hello, Castlew says blessed day. Listening to this is a great this great discussion topic. Need the village and to create our own systems within a system that meets the needs of the communities with cultural competency. All right.
100% agree. This is
Fully agreed. So there's a great transition to our other conversation topic today, Mr. Jamie Foxx. So I'm going to let Emma give the background on this conversation topic. But hey, if you still want to make comments about Dr. Umar, we'll certainly put them up. But Emma, you're on.
Oh, Jamie. So Jamie Foxx, I always say, is an outstanding bunny hopper. Okay. Um, and after his last relationship with, she looked fairly young to me. I can't remember her name. I don't pay attention to. I just don't pay attention to the names because it's ever changing. But he said, and it was during a skit. He said, "I am cured." Okay, these are his words, verbatim. I'm cured. I'm done with white girls. I'm serious. I'm done with white girls. Okay. And Dr. Umar reposted it in a uh, sort of like in a commentary sort of structure, and said, "Finally free." And he put a picture of a bunny with the X through it or whatever. And I responded and said, Jamie Foxx is an outstanding bunny hopper. He is not going to give up the snow bunnies. He will go and get another one. Who told me to say that?
Uh-oh.
When I tell you the amount of black men that came, and I said black men, unless they were white people that were masquerading, because they do that, right? They create these accounts and call themselves Jamal, and just so that they can watch stuff and come in on us. So I'll just say, I believe we're black men were literally bashing me for saying that Jamie Foxx is an outstanding bunny hopper. One even told me I lacked so much intellect, and he was ready to have a whole publicized debate about me saying that he's an outstanding bunny hopper and he will go and get another one. So, fast forward to just a few days ago, or maybe it was last week, he was seen with not one, but 5
Okay.
coming out of a vehicle. And he's opening the door, and they're all just, coming out of the
Like a clown car.
pardon?
Like a clown car. This kept coming out.
Yes. And one's holding his hand, one's hugging him. Just a
Oh.
beautiful display. And so I covered it and I said it. Nothing for my neck. I said it. And here he is.
But
So
why is he like why would he say he's cured? Like if he
cured from what? Exactly.
Yeah, like if that's who you're attracted to, then be you, man. Why fight against your own? Like clearly he has that affinity and is attracted to those ladies. Why is he fighting that? Just
Exactly. And the thing about it too is that like I said, they're coming for me, right? And saying I don't know him. You're right, I don't know him. But I do know he has 2 children from a white woman. I do know he had a long-term relationship with a public figure, Katie Holmes, who, there's all that controversy that, him and Tom Cruise were friends and somehow they ended up together. So there was some messiness, but there was I think it was over 5 years.
Gotcha.
So I know that. I don't have to know him to know that. Right.
Right.
And like you said, Ryan, love who you want to love. But my thing is, if you publicly declare that you are done, and to the point where not only Umar, a lot of black people are like, finally,
Right.
Black Queens forever. He's here. He's come home.
Yes.
And then months later, there he is with not 1, but 5, right? You open yourself up for this scrutiny.
Exactly. Yes.
That's the thing. And you love who you want to love. But what does cured mean? And what are you cured from? Like that's the thing. Just own it. Own it.
Right.
I don't pay, this is again a perfect example why I don't pay attention to many, many, many entertainers.
But
why
you know
we
what?
are putting
Now
our energies on entertainers, athletes, all these people. To me, I manage my time and I manage my energy. Emma, if you didn't bring this to my attention, I wouldn't have known.
Right.
And the only reason I'm talking about it is because I know the backlash I got.
Yeah. Exactly.
To just predict what actually happened. But in the same fashion of Umar, he's now saying it was part of his comedy skit and he was joking. It was a jokingly, I call it seriously joking, because oftentimes comedians are pulling from their life experiences and creating these skits, right? So I feel like he meant it. He meant it, but he just can't help himself. And that's fine.
Emma, let me ask, what are your thoughts about the backlash you've received from black men?
Well, I just said that they're obviously outstanding bunny hoppers as well. And, it's one of those things like the truth hurts, right? The ugly truth hurts. And, it's like, how dare you? How dare I? How dare I what? Speak the truth.
Exactly.
So
How dare I observe?
Another thing I want to touch back with. So Emma, I don't know if you're comfortable, but when we had a conversation about this ties in the black men. A number of black men that you saw when Dr. Umar Johnson was in Toronto, they were there by themselves.
Yeah,
What
they
did
didn't
you tell
bring
me
they,
about?
and some of them I know are in relationships, with white women, and they did not bring her with them to, the Umar event. They came
Right.
alone. I feel like that was deliberate, okay? Because, they're not gonna. This is a man whose whole brand is built off of snow bunnies never, and I can't even tell you the amount of times he said it. Like when a black man came to him and said, "Hey, let's take a picture." His first question is, no snow bunnies, right? He even said that to my
Right. Yes.
said it to my hubby. That's the first thing he said when my husband went up to meet him. He was like, "No snow bunnies, right?" And he said,
Right.
"No snow bunnies." That's So they're not going to bring their significant other there. It's just there's certain events. If you want them to feel uncomfortable, sure. Or if you're trying to find a way to get out of that relationships, bring them there. It's
Oh,
like at
oh,
your own risk. But yeah, there were a lot of them that were there that, I was like, and where is she at?
yes.
What
And my
what
apologies. I didn't even realize it is 10:30. I was supposed to be at a 10 o'clock. Uh, so good
where
seeing you.
you were supposed to be where?
Listen, I can see why my phone was buzzing.
Well, because
Oh,
what people want you?
right? Yes. Oh,
People are needing you? They
no
do
kidding.
want you, Ryan?
Yes, yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, look, Ryan, thanks again for spending some extra time. We will catch up with you
Yes.
during the week and have a good one.
You
And yes,
too.
and Ryan, reach out when you're ready.
Will do. Yes. Thanks
All
Okay.
so
right.
much.
Take care. Have a great day.
Bye, Ryan.
All right. So Ryan is out of here, and we got some more time with Emma. Anything else you wanted to share with the whole Jamie Foxx saga?
To be honest with you, it's one of those things where it's not like I'm disappointed. It's not like, it's not my business who he chooses to love, okay? It is what it is. The heart wants what the heart wants. My thing is just don't declare and then use the word cured. Like,
Cured.
were they some sort of cancer to you, and you feel
Yeah.
like I finally understand the toxicity or the whatever of that group of people, and then turn around and just for me it's like I just find it to be really just problematic.
Did he have a
But
disease?
not my problem. It's just, what I do for a living is what I do. So if people are going to come for me, you're giving me material on both sides. You're giving
Yeah.
me
Just
material by saying publicly declaring to the world, and then you're giving me material for giving me backlash for saying it's not true.
yeah. I'm a little concerned about the backlash you receive from black men.
Yeah, me too. That part was concerning to me only because where's the lie? And why though? Like, you have to look at yourself and ask yourself why what I said angered you to this point where you're saying you are not intelligent, you lack intellect, and I need to have a public debate with you.
Wow. Are
For
you
what?
kidding me?
What are we debating? I always
Are
said,
you kidding me? Someone wanted to have a
oh yeah, he
public.
wanted a whole publicized debate, and he even said, "I want a publicized debate with unintellectual Emma Ansah to talk about her comment about Jamie
Wow.
Foxx." Yes, 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 yes.
Have there have you ever done a story that has received so much pushback from black men?
Not like this one, and I hadn't even done a story. I just made a comment.
Wow,
There's
you
been
just made a comment and you got that.
Yeah, and there's been others where I will say, like, say I'll do a story where a black man will say, "Listen, I only want to date my black queen. Stop asking me or saying to me, you're missing out because I choose to only date or be in relationships or marry a black woman. Because more and more black men are feeling like they have to justify the fact that they want to be with a black woman as a black man. And what happens is they're met with all of these negative comments by people of other races and even black men saying, you don't know what you're missing out on. Don't be a fool. And, black women are this and black women are that. So when I cover those kinds of stories, a lot of black men say, because women like you, that's why. Women
Oh,
like
wow.
you.
Women like you?
Yeah, because I will say, why are you coming down on this black man for saying he wants to be with a black woman? Why is that bothering you? That is your stuff. You need to look within yourself and ask yourself why a black man who declares that I only want to be with black queens angers you. And the fact that I would say this black man is not done, he's not cured, he will go and get another one. Why does that bother you? So, I think they need to look within themselves to see why that would anger you. Why a black man saying he wants a black woman would anger you. I mean, why is that a problem?
Hmm.
So I get a lot of backlash for when I cover those kinds of stories. And then sadly, when I'm covering a story about a young youth, like a 14-year-old or 15-year-old, like the young man who, or young man, but the young teenager who recently unalived that 71-year-old woman and is now in police custody. But he did a live stream and he was talking about what he did and why he did it and all that stuff. And I covered the story, and my question was, how is a 14-year-old getting a hold of these things? How is a 14-year-old trying to steal a car who can't drive? Like, where's the adults in the room? Like, he's 14. He's not even of age of majority to do anything really, right? So I'm just questioning. There's a bigger picture here, right? And oh my goodness, you need to stop defending this young, this young boy. He did what he did. He deserves, to be tried as an adult. And so I would get a lot of backlash from our community about this. And it's not that I'm defending what he did. I'm just saying there must be some adults in the room, whether it's gang related adults or there's something going on. So these are the kinds of things for me that I find problematic
Hmm.
when I'm getting it. I expect it from other races of people, but when I get it from that to me is pretty disheartening. It is to me.
You've described on top of the story about Jamie Foxx with some other incidents and some people's reaction who are look like us. How, with what you do daily, covering, sharing, how deep is the trauma from your lens within the black environment?
Oh, it's deeply fractured, and I feel like that our community still struggles with a lot of slave mentality. Still have this white savior complex, so that when I'm speaking against it or supporting somebody that is against it, then it's that subset of people. And I'm not going to suggest that it's a lot, but it's a good amount. There are a lot of black people in the community that are definitely are like, yes, yes, Sister Emma, speak your truth. But there's a fairly large group. And I feel like there's a lot of self-hatred as well. There's a lot going on internally,
Yeah.
um, that is something that's I don't even want to say a stereotype. It's a fact in our community where there's a lot of internal trauma, struggle, um, that is within a lot of Black people. That because the narrative has always been, for example, for Black men, big boys don't cry. Leave. You don't emote. You're not allowed to be vulnerable. So there are a lot of things that are just internalized, and no outlet to share, to get it out, going to therapy, all of these things to really unpack what's going on and be given the right tools to be able to cope with what is going on is a problem. So we tend to look towards what we feel like is the brighter light for us. And I'm not suggesting that every interracial relationship is bad for you. I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of motives that are not in the right place, and then what happens from that is you get the Shannon Sharps of the world and things that happen there. And more recently, there's an NFL player whose story I'm going to cover. It just came my way, where he was married to a white woman, and I guess he had ended up having to get a restraining order on her. And she sent a series of text messages, and one of which she said, "Now I know why racism exists." And she also said, "I'm going to arrange for your hands to be cut off because then you won't be able to play football again." It was just really disturbing text messages. And
Um,
yeah, and I always say, when those kinds of things happen, I feel like they're just saying the quiet things out loud. Finally, whatever was already in them, the racism that's just already there. And so that's why I say, I go back to the word motive. What do you really? Why are you really wanting to marry this person? Why are you really in this relationship with this person on both sides? Because then what happens is this in the end, right? So that's my feeling.
okay. As we start closing it down, if you had a chance to speak with Mr. Jamie Foxx, what would you tell him?
I would just say to him, because he's always been this person where he kept his private life private. So rather than make a public declaration, just go back to that. He is the one who always says, once you put your life out in front of this, pointing at a camera, then you set yourself up, for issues. So for me personally, love who you want to love, do what you want to do. But when you put it out there, you open yourself up, and it kind of diminishes your credibility. So I would just say to him, just keep your life private. You don't owe anybody any explanation. You don't have to tell anybody I'm cured, and using that word cured, and then saying I'm done, and you're really not. So that's what I would say.
All right. As comments here, the Wallamala says Fox chasing the bunnies. And it's two X's, by the way, but no problem. And Dr. Tatch agrees with you, says, yes, just say nothing.
Nothing. It's not our business. And he always says it's not. So keep it that way. But,
100.
when you open that up, you give us content, or at least me.
More content.
Especially
More
when you want
content.
to give me backlash. Oh, you're fueling me.
Oh my gosh. Well, as we start winding down, as always, if you are watching on the Dr. Vibe Show YouTube page, we'd love you to vote and give your take on today's epic conversation. So from 1 to 5, would love you to vote. So 1, it was a waste of time. 5, you thought it was out of bounds. So we would appreciate you voting, and we can put the back up. Oh, Walla Mala is in the house. Good stuff. There we go. People are already voting. You see, in real time, it is there. Yeah, lots of people giving. Love the fives. Love the fives. Excellent. Excellent.
Yay.
Good stuff. So, what is coming up for you, Emma?
Well, we have our weekly journalist meeting, and I love those because we get to really unpack all of the ins and outs, like what's changing. Because as a podcaster, how just ebbs and flows, right? Like the algorithms are always ever changing, the guidelines are ever changing. So I love our meetings where we're given so much tools and tips and tricks, to just kind of keep the forward thinking, keeping it fresh. So that's happening. And then after that, as I said, the news is newsing. We got another 15 to bang out.
There's always stuff going on.
Always.
Always stuff going on. So a few things as we start winding it down. First of all, thanks everyone for watching live on the replay and listening on the replay. It's appreciated, not taken for granted. And we always get such great engagement when Emma's on, not only live, but on the replay. So definitely, and leading into that, there's different ways you can get a hold of Emma. There's her company, Get Public Relations. It's at getpublicrelations.com. Email, Ghanaian Girls. I love that email handle, by the way.
Yeah.
At gmail.com. There's African Diaspora News Channel, which has how many subscribers on that platform? It's like
almost 2 million. We're just 1.9
yeah.
change. Yeah, we're almost.
And she is on there. She's on there on the reg. Also, there's Emancipation Media on YouTube. There's the Daily Scrum News, dailyscrumnews.com, and Emma Ansah Unfiltered.
Yeah.
So you have no excuses. And on most of the platforms that you're watching this live on the replay, all that is in the comments section. Always, too, subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. Also, follow the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Substack. Also, join our Discord group. You can email me at dr.vibe at the dr.vibeshow.com, or you can click the link that's in there. Also, to advertise your business, product, or service on any of the platforms that we are a part of, please email me, dr.vibe at the dr.vibeshow.com. What else? Mr. Ryan Oneil Knight, who was here longer than usual. Yay. You can get a hold of him at Ryan Oneil Knight, and that's Knight with a K-N, not an N. Also, LinkedIn, Ryan Oneil Knight, Instagram, ryan.knight99. Also, email address, workwithme at ryanoneiliknight.com. All the different places you can get a hold of me. Website, the dr.vibeshow.com. YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and LinkedIn, The Dr. Vibe Show. Instagram, at The Dr. Vibe Show. X at drvibeshow. Email address, I've said that a few times, so I ain't going to include that one. But you can catch me also on Substack at drvibe.substack.com/subscribe, and on Blue Sky at drvibe.bsky social. And also, too, you can watch replays of this epic conversation on the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Also on the, that's it, too. And also, you're also on the website. No, not on the website. Sorry, my mistake. On the Afro Caribbean Business Network on YouTube, and also Ryan Oneil Knight on YouTube. That's it. That's a wrap. I was able to do it without a producer today, so maybe there's good.
You did a great job.
Well, he did a little bit of. He set up a lot of stuff on the back end, so he made it the flow easier. And plus, working with great individuals like Ryan and Emma, it was a blast. Plus, we have a great family. Live on scene family. So thanks for tolerating it, but this is what we do. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions. Aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Oh, there's another comment here. Let's see. Who has something to say? Cass Lou gives clap hands. Thank you, Cass Lou. Thank you. Thank you so much. So let's get back to it. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions. Aim bigger, aim better, aim higher and wider. Love, faith, and respect. Don't just manage your time, manage your energy, and remember to give yourself grace. God bless. Oh, I forgot. If you're not making money, make history. Try to do both and make it better. God bless. Peace to all. Keep the faith. Walk good, and we'll catch you soon. Take care.
Hi, everyone.
This whole thing of using your business with plant-based products, don't you think your life should reflect that too?
Juke him, Carolyn. Juke him. The family loves us here because they're saying Fitness IQ Can says put a wig on to get in.
Oh God. Oh my God.
Like the ideas are just coming fast and furious here this morning. What? Okay, look at this. Global Women Ambassador. Good morning. Look forward. Okay.